Good morning again.
You can't hear me? Really? Morning,
No, good
everyone.
morning.
Okay, good. Morning, everyone, and good afternoon to some of you joining us from overseas. Welcome to this webinar presented by CGI. Joining me, my name is Madhuri Chawla. Joining me today are Sujay and Min, all esteemed colleagues of mine. We're all part of this great company called CGI, and we're all part of the SAP practice here in CGI Canada. All three of us have 20 25 years of SAP experience in many different ways, how we've touched SAP not only from an implementation services standpoint, but from many other different journeys that we've been through with SAP. And our objective today obviously is to enlighten you on CGI's SAP capabilities with a lot of focus obviously on the Canadian practice within CGI, but CGI is a global company, and also showcase some of the use cases that we personally have been involved in. So there's three major topics that we're trying to cover today. One is obviously, as you embark on your SAP transformation journey, either you're already an existing SAP customer, how can you take advantage of SAP's latest announcements from this year around the Business Data Cloud, what its benefits are, some of the use cases that CGI is working with our clients and with SAP to bring BDC to market, as well as the Business Technology Platform, the BTP, some of our use cases. That's what you'll hear about, the objectives and what, the customer pain points, what it solved, as well as the value they got out of it. Similarly, we'll talk to you a little bit about our own experiences working with many, many customers in their transformation journey to SAP Business Suite, which is the new name, by the way, of S/4HANA. And what are some of the approaches you can take to help modernize your journey, make it easier, take advantage of the lessons learned that we have taken from various customers we've helped, as well as some of the conversion approaches. So this is intended to be a very high-level discussion. It's more of a discussion and our sharing of our knowledge, our best practices to help you, to guide you. That's what our intention is. And please, I'm sure if you're having questions, we'd love to hear the questions, but kindly put them in the chat so that we will be reserving time at the end of this discussion for your questions, and we'll be happy to take any sorts of questions, obviously time permitting. And if we run out of time, obviously, please send us the questions. We will respond back via emails. We're here to help, advise, guide. That's what the intention of today's webinar is. And truly, truly thankful to all of you for joining us. So as I said, I'll be taking you through a little bit of a journey of who CGI is. CGI is a Canadian company. This picture only is showing you what CGI in Canada is. CGI is a global company. We operate in 40 plus countries, but it is headquartered in Canada, in Montreal, Canada. We're almost 50 years old. Next year will be our 50th anniversary. And our mission is very simple. We are here to help our clients. We strongly believe in the proximity model. That means we operate in a metro market-based model, even within a country like in Canada, which is one of our strategic business units. Similarly, we have several in Europe, over in APAC, in all around the globe. You'll find us, but we strongly believe in the proximity model. That means we want to be close to our customers to help them. We want to work and live alongside with our customers, so we do joint things in the community and so on. In Canada alone, CGI is very big. As I said, it is a Canadian company. We're over 12,000 practitioners, professionals in many different skill sets that we bring to the table. We work in a lot of the industries, and we have won, awards, as you can see on this chart. And by the way, we just won another one from Time Magazine just a week or two ago as top-rated employers in Canada because of the work we do in the community and the work we help transform our clients in many different IT services and managed services. Particularly, let's talk about SAP. So today's focus obviously is SAP. CGI has been in the SAP business for over 30 years, 30. We operate with our SAP systems in about 15 to 20 different countries around the globe. We have multiple SAP certifications, obviously, with SAP, both globally and also at a country level. We are a managed services provider. We have practices for success factors, Ariba, Fieldglass, of course, for S4, hundreds of SAP clients that we've been helping through their journey, depending on various types of services. So let's kind of talk about, the various services CGI actually offers. This chart is kind of showing you, some of our services in 5 different buckets. Obviously, CGI is an industry leader, so this is not representing the industry experts that we have, but this is more representing just the SAP flavor. So obviously, we do a lot of IT managed services, advisory services, staff augmentations. We've taken several customers through their transformation journeys from legacy products, R2, R3, ECC, on to S4, and so on, in many different projects in different kinds of needs that the clients had. We've been working with the BTP platform, and today's objective, we are going to share a couple of real life use cases that Min will be taking you through on what we have deployed and what benefits the customers achieved from those particular BTP use cases, the business technology platform. BDC is a net new product, which I'll talk about. So we have invested heavily in the BDC space and what we are doing with some of our clients in the BDC space. Similarly, the migration and transformation services, that's what Sujay is going to articulate, some of the approaches, some of the do's and don'ts and learnings that we have learned to help you with your transformation journey. We have large practices, obviously different SAP products, not just the S4HANA, but SuccessFactors, Ariba, Fieldglass, what we've done with some of our clients in this space, as well as, our bread and butter remains to be, the SAP managed services. We have some very, very large customers with us for 10, 20, 30 years that we have stayed with them. And because of our proximity and relationship being our top most fundamental core to our values, these clients have stayed with us, and then we continue to offer AMS services, not only for SAP workloads, but of course, CGI is big. We're over 90,000 people worldwide. So of course, we have a whole breadth of additional services in many different areas that we offer AMS. So let's focus on the topic for one of the topics for today, which is really BDC. So what is BDC? So SAP did a launch earlier this year, March, April, May timeframe. It was also announced at Sapphire in Orlando as well as in Barcelona. So Business Data Cloud is kind of SAP's next evolution, I would say, in the data space. That's what BDC is, Business Data Cloud. Some of the key benefits, what BDC is, basically it's a SaaS offering. Which is very different from the perpetual license model that they had for their legacy products, including SAP, BW, and others. The core benefits, of course, of BDC are the fact that it can actually read data and it gives you semantic information from SAP data sources, so like the legacy data sources, BW, and others, but can also read structured and unstructured data from non-SAP applications. And SAP also announced their partnership with Databricks. So it certainly is, Databricks is well embedded into this overall solution. But the biggest value that you're getting here is the fact that it can read data from multiple sources. And please keep in mind, we're taking read. We're not doing a data replication. This is not a repeat of, moving large volumes of data. That's not the intent. The design point is that it integrates with Databricks, and it's actually a concept that SAP calls a zero copy. So you're basically using semantic data. So semantic data really meaning that, whether you have HR data, financials data, supply chain data, it's actually, for example, using a cost center, it's reading it across multiple data sources, not just SAP sources. And the other biggest value prop behind this is it comes embedded with a lot of data products. So SAP has pre-built a lot of data products, and it comes with an Insights app, which helps your business users and your IT users to kind of make decisions. So for example, forecasting or supply chain, replenishment of your products and so on. It can read data from multiple sources and help you give those business visuals and reporting that you're looking for, and help you do analytics using AI as well. So those are some of the biggest value props. And the data market by itself obviously is very big. is projected to be around $300 billion US by 2028. So obviously this is a great strategy, moving forward. And why CGI is doing here is SAP enlisted only a handful of partners initially to take this to market, the BDC, and you can even look at Christian Klein's messaging and so on. And even when the fiscal year results are being announced by SAP by quarter, BDC is being called out. So it's a very, very strategic move from SAP. And CGI is one of the partners that is working with our existing clients and obviously willing to help net new logos, new customers with their journey to adopt BDC. So on this front, as I mentioned, BDC has a lot of different value props, but the most common use case for BDC, this is just one of the use cases, but it is the most common ones. There's about 20,000 legacy SAP BW customers around the globe. Once again, 20,000 customers. Those customers are basically still running the legacy versions of SAP BW, and they're looking for something new, something that can give them some of the benefits I just talked about, right? The openness, open architectures, the insights apps, more current state of the art semantic data, and obviously the additional advantage of being able to read not just from SAP BW but other data sources that they have. So this is the common pain point this use case is solving. CGI is invested in this space. We're actually working with a couple of our very, very large customers as we speak in Canada, helping them to move from their legacy BW into this BDC. And SAP has a lot of incentives out there as well. There's certain MDF fundings available right now, some assessment services. So it's an investment from SAP, it's an investment from us. And obviously you as a client can take advantage of these promotions, incentives that are out there right now to help you embark on this journey. And obviously the value prop you're going to get is you'll be up to speed with a SaaS offering. So commercially, obviously there's a value there as well. It's not just a technical benefit, the fact that you're able to read data from multiple sources, you get these insights app, you get pre-built data products. But on the commercial side as well, today, a lot of the legacy customers, they're reaching end of maintenance and they continue to pay high maintenance fees in a perpetual license model. On the commercial side, obviously, you're moving to a SaaS product where some of the technical managed services will be done by SAP. And the other biggest benefit, obviously, is that this is not a data replication. This is really SAP's BDC reading data from multiple sources using what they call the zero copy delta sharing is what they're doing. So many, many benefits that you can take advantage if you're planning for next fiscal year, as an example, and you're looking for some cost savings and optimization and transformation. This is a great way for you to consider, especially if you're running, legacy SAP BWs, because BW 7.5 end of maintenance, as you're seeing, is coming up in 2030. So a great way for you to plan your next fiscal year. So that's kind of, what we're talking about here. CGI is here to help. I'm going to switch topics just a little bit now and pass it on to my colleague Sujay, who really is going to talk to you a little bit about transformation, why you should be doing it, what are some of the hiccups you can perceive in advance when you start the journey. So I'll pass it to you, Sujay. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Madhuri, and welcome all. Whenever we at CGI, we talk to people in the industry, with our clients at all levels in the organization, right, from the C-suite to the managers and to the day-to-day end users. One theme always comes up. We know we need to move to cloud with SAP, but the path just feels so overwhelming. Right? Sounds familiar with most of us. Right? We've heard that conversation multiple times through elevator pitch to the boardrooms, right? The SAP ERP Cloud Private, that is what it is called now. That's the rebranding essentially from SAP Rise, which is now called as SAP ERP Cloud Private. It's not just a technology shift, but it's a business transformation. And irrespective, and you're going to hear this a lot, greenfield is like a full business transformation. It is. But essentially, even if you look at various approaches to get to SAP ERP Cloud Private, especially if you are an existing ECC shop, even if you're doing a brownfield, it gives you a golden opportunity to really innovate and transform the way your business operates, as well as the way your IT operates, and looks at the investments that you're going to make into ERP and to the into the future. Regardless of the approach, whether it is greenfield, brownfield, or hybrid, the cloud adoption should be looked at as transformative. Right. End of the day, the business case for cloud adoption revolves around efficiency, cost, and how it assists your value chains. Through some of the transformation experiences that we've had and through the conversations, some of the themes that come across is, as I spoke about, the path sounds overwhelming. Right? Considering we all run complex landscapes, ERP or non-ERP, you've already made investments on your on-premise infrastructure or applications. It's extremely crucial that you plan before you embark on your SAP ERP cloud journey. The business case for your ERP cloud journey and recognizing the value to the business, the security in today's world, redundancy, or compliance will help you get over some of those tough business decisions. The other thing that comes up is complex product lineups, right? What is the right mix of product and architecture to be had, right? Do I go all in for SAP versus a lot of non-SAP offerings, public cloud offerings, SaaS product, you know, uh, PaaS products that are available in the market today, right? My recommendation is make the most out of, the proven technology, have a hybrid approach. Best example is when you run your integrations, right? We work with customers who are 100% BTP integration suite, right? But we work with customers also where we've you know provided advisory in terms of what's the best practice in terms of adopting integration suite versus other integration products that are available in the market, right? Which one you should go for. And it all boils down to cost, your operational parameters, your security, redundancy, your comfort with working with various vendors in the market, right? So some of those key considerations. And while we talk about some of those product lineups, uh, change change is inevitable, right? But it is our human nature to resist change. We've we are seeing that with AI. We've seen that with introduction to computers, right? Making the change lucrative, specifically in the SAP ERP context, making the change lucrative to your business owners is what will ensure that your organization is aligned at all levels, right? Um, Again, we've seen change management being triggered, right? Right when they've already made a decision, they've already invested in going into SAP ERP. A robust change management with its early engagement will help you achieve and align those stakeholders within your organization. Right? And as we talk about change, one crucial aspect that I always talk to as CGI with my customer is your cost model, right? You're moving away from a legacy licensing model as you adopt cloud-based product and cloud-based offering to a consumption-based approach, right? Or consumption-based model. Now, if you look at ERP core, it is more of a FUE-based model, right? Which is calculated based on various parameters, right? Type of users versus BTP, which is more consumption-based or storage-based, right? Or BDC, which is again, depending on what functionality you use. So end of the day, operating with these parameters will need planning to ensure that you avoid cost overruns. One of the common uh, talking points for a transformation or for a path to migration to S4 is timelines and shifting priorities or shifting goalposts. Transformations can be heavy in terms of the duration it takes to move to S4 and the engagement your teams will need to have during the project. or the program, highly recommend that you use the roadmap exercise to ensure your priorities are set. We all have competing projects. Your business users, your SMEs, architecture teams, your IT organization as a whole is going to have a lot of competing projects. You're going to have business events, plants that are going to have turnarounds, maintenance activities, shutdowns, unforeseen business events, and again, shifting geopolitical landscape as well. So those things have an impact on some of the timelines, some of the budgets, and whatnot, right? So running your business and generating revenue end of the day is paramount for you. However, look at adopting SAP ERP not just as an IT-driven project, rather than a business outcome. This will help you prioritize and end of the day be realistic, right? Be realistic with your goals. Be realistic in terms of where you want to be with your business objectives and your product roadmap, right? 5, 10 years down the line. That also leads us to capacity. As business owners, SAP SMEs and their teams will have their day jobs. Planning ahead during your roadmap phase will help you ensure that you have the right capacity allocated to the program, with backups identified to take care of your day jobs. I've seen personally across Canada a lot of RFPs come up from the clients that ask this question, that what do you need from us? You know, can you draw down in an Excel the capacity you need from us to execute the program, right? Sometimes my answer is, we need your best, right? Because just um, you're going to have multiple stakeholders when you do embark on a transformation, especially an SAP transformation. You're going to have your SI, you're going to have your SI or SIs, depending on the size of the organization and the complexity. You're going to have SAP, who's going to be tied to the hip, and then you also have your internal stakeholders to manage as well, right? So bringing the right combination together is very important. And end of the day, what I've also observed is that having a solid, especially from a business perspective, having a solid documentation will also help ease the pain. So if you're looking at kicking off a transformation journey a year or 2 years down the line, or even if you've already taken that leap, it's not a bad idea to look back at your business process and start documenting those business processes, right? There are a lot of standardized tools that are available, AI-driven tools that are available today in the market. SAP, Signavio, Lean IX, all these tools make our life a lot more easier. It's just a matter of discipline and then focus before you kick off that journey. Um, one of the one of the key themes that is going to start popping up, and you would have seen a lot of noise on LinkedIn over the past couple of weeks, with the SAP CIO also publishing the AI use cases that SAP is marketing with its SAP Business AI offering on Joule, right? So the AI roadmap is going to be a critical aspect that will pop up in all your future transformation conversations, right? What is your AI roadmap? Shifting from a traditional automation or RPA to an AI, having a clear, responsible AI strategy for your organization will help you drive the right decision in terms of what technology to adopt. It can be confusing, it can be overwhelming. Again, going back to the same point, right? Peer pressure as well. You've seen X organization adopt AI, right? But you are in the dark in terms of what benefit it brings up, right? So it's a good chance to kind of, as part of the transformation program, to look at your AI strategy, how it aligns to SAP. So, for example, SAP has recently published 294 odd use cases. I'm not sure all are available to the customer right now, to the customers, but some of them definitely are, and some of them are absolutely amazing. And again, they're available as part of your business AI offering. Plus, to Madhuri's point, BDC. Now, BDC has come up with a whole slew of AI and ML capabilities, sitting on your data lake, right? So having a clear AI roadmap will help you simplify some of those decisions and then integrate some of those decisions as part of your transformation. So you're not regretting on any, regret spend for the future, right? Moving on, more specifically for clients who are existing ECC shop, you can start your roadmap journey by looking at some of the critical aspects for ERP cloud preparedness. And that is why CGI has been working with a lot of customers to prepare themselves for the next step, to prepare yourself for the transformation. And depending on the size of organization, that roadmap journey could be 6 months to a year to 15 months, right? Depending on, again, what's the size of your database, the complexity of your data flows, right? The data sources. And again, some of these prep activities do not just apply to your SAP ECC environment, but to your entire existing SAP ecosystem. I've seen customers focus more on ECC, and then you've got BW, which is not compatible to be moved as is, right? In a brownfield scenario. So what we are doing with the customers is helping them map what they have today to the future, to the SAP product roadmap, and make realistic decisions in terms of what approach suits them best, right? So when I say hybrid, it could be for SAP ECC, you could adopt bare bones brownfield strategy. But from BW perspective, it could be a complete transformation, because now you're looking at adopting BDC with its whole slew of AI capabilities, right? So in terms of planning and in terms of looking at your transformation, it may not be one fit all for each of your application, right? So PIPO is mostly out of support, right? So if you are running a PIPO, you will have to shift to either BTP integration suite or whole slew of other integration products that are available in the market. And that needs planning, that needs you to build a repository of all your integrations, understanding the complexity. And that's where CGI has been helping the customers to be get ready, not just executing the transformation, but also to take that crucial step to prepare you for that journey, right? I think end of the day, to reiterate the message, I'll say, start your roadmap journey at least 6 to 8 months in advance. Again, depending on the size of the organization, it's not one fit all for all, before you pull the trigger on moving to ERP cloud. I hope I've tried to uncover some of the known things that we all talk about, either through elevator conversations or in the boardrooms. But I would be happy to answer any questions you may have before the end of the session. And I'll invite my colleague Min to walk through some of the approaches to get you to SAP ERP Cloud, and again talk more around BTP. So over to you, Min. Thank you.
Thank you, Sujay. Hi, good morning, everyone. So I mainly work on project deliveries for helping client transform and move. One of the main goal is part of the cloud journey or migration of all the on-prem system over to cloud, including one of the main tasks for a lot of clients looking for right now is they're sitting on ECC and moving to S4. So ECC is, well, previous transformation was we went from R3 to ECC. Now ECC, now we must goes to the S4 HANA journey. So ACC, one of the level where clients stay at most for a long period of time. So you can see that the complexity that different system that connects to the ECC system, like your originally called XI, and then go to PI, and then you also have your PO, PI, PO, and so forth that is connected. And there's also other so not just interfaces that are dealing with XI. There's BW, where Madhuri touched upon modernizing your BW system, going over to BDC. But then you can have heterogeneous solutions that are connecting to ECC, including like any mobile systems, mobile solutions that you have, and mainly we help in transforming those, including there are some legacies. A lot of the clients have is like enterprise portal that is a web browser based that have a mix of applications that are running in ABAP WebDyn Pro or even Java WebDyn Pro. All these different applications we're going to help lift and shift over, and some of them transform to Fiori apps. So the goal is usually using the Fiori app running UI5 so that you can leverage those apps running, whether it's on a desktop browser or your mobile phone, and then also enabling offline module, as in, the app will still works even if you don't have data connection. That is what we call it, the occasionally connected scenarios for offline scenarios. So we help in mapping all those processes, and we have clients that have different we can say a mix of solutions that currently with the ECC that we help transform. So lift and shift is what shown is a system copy. This is one of the strategy that's being used a lot by different clients, is that we replicate their system there onto the into the S4 environment with the brownfield implementation, where we carry out co-remediations, and specifically with those, we like to introduce usually in the BTP platform to help with, at the same time, transition some of your other processes in. And it's also different on the timelines, right? Some ECC customers, they move towards BTP first before they actually consider doing the S4. So when they have the BTP platform engagement, whether it's in, BTP is big, right? It could be on the finance area, supply chain, procurement, so forth, even HR. But for example, let's say they set up a specific BTP environment to use mobile solutions that have set up their SAP Cloud Connector to go to the on-prem system. Oh, thanks for removing that slide. It's perfect. Actually, I can transition into this slide. It's basically some clients already on BTP. Before they go to S4, they would leverage the SAP Cloud Connector to make their on-prem system, back-end SAP system, to be visible to the BTP platform. Some of the clients, it's very nervous about that as they go to S4. What would happen to the BTP cloud platform where they do already a sub account or subscription to the BTP? But all those can be worked. We have seen that mix of environment with those is that we set up the BTP with different cloud connector to connect to either your on-prem system and to your new brownfield implementation of your S4, and that can be on RISE as well. Those are just basically enabling all the firewall rules and so forth. So you would have two different sub accounts with two different cloud connectors to go to both sides. So those can work as well in parallel. So it's not so much of one or the other. Like we must shut down the on-prem side where you do your S4 journey. So example here presented on the screen here is one of the example that we actually did for a healthcare client. Is that originally they started with on the healthcare side, mainly on the hospitals that is around our area here at GTA. Is these hospital, what they do is they use the first version is they use paper scanning, paper recording to place orders to replenish all the materials inside the hospital that are used for surgeries and day-to-day operations, running of the hospital. And the first version they moved in was I'm not sure what you call the very first versions of mobile engine. Some of you may heard of, as in very long ago. The first version of SAP was they started with ME, which is mobile engine. And then with the mobile engine, they actually moved towards the next version. They call it SAP MI, which is SAP Mobile Infrastructure. And then what that allows you to do is that a lot of the different areas that the mobile solution applies is that you can use a mobile phone, or you can use something called an RF scanner, which is like a mobile, almost like a tablet, but it's a smaller version of scanners that have a built-in scanner imagery that can fire up a laser that can read barcodes. So the one of the primary reasons there is to read barcodes, to read in a material quickly, so that you can do your inventory count, you can do ordering straight to your ECC system, right? And then when they do that, at a lot of times in different areas, based on the different environment, whether, let's say, you're in a hospital or you're in some sort of a kiosk environment where you don't have connectivity, you want your app still to work. So based on those, SAP came up with mobile infrastructure, and then came along with SAP Sybase, which comes in, and Sybase is your, what they call it, the SUP, right? SUP, which is like Sybase on wire platform that allows you to do mobile app ordering to SAP as well, where you are, not connected to any connectivity, and your app will still work seamlessly. So that's when Sybase come in. And then the next latest version here, now here we are, is at BTP, mobile services. So SAP actually bought Sybase, and it took over some of those concepts, but they already started with the MI concept, where Sybase did a bit better with the heartbeat, what you call it, the heartbeat feature, or you might heard of those. But then the latest now is we help client transition to BTP mobile services running on BTP, right? And then with that, basically we allow apps that are running in UI5, Fiori app, which give a very consistent look of Fiori UX, right? The user experience in Fiori, running on HTML5 browser. Those are Fiori apps. But then we added a component to it, as in leveraging BTP platform for mobile services that allows your application to run offline. So you can sync data offline and so forth. It's quite applicable for a lot of devices usage at different client that uses RF scanners. Now you may ask, what about scanners at a warehouse? And we also have those for certain clients that have warehouse that supplies a material, put it on the truck, and then send it to the hospital, where the hospital uses it. So those warehouses use a different set of scanners where they do real-time scanning. It doesn't, because a lot of warehouses already have a lot of hotspots or routers that set up. You don't really need offline solution for those. Those we leverage something called SAP EWM, which is the extended warehouse management. And we also help those clients talk to their ECC platform that is transitioning to S4, right? So those are the examples we have that we help with healthcare. And in here, perfect, thank you. With the next screen here is on the different across multiple industry, not just the healthcare industry that we talked about. For example, we have clients that are sitting on the SMP. So I did miss talking about the SMP. So SMP was actually the SAP mobile platform. It was the later version. It was the next version after SAP MI, which is mobile infrastructure. So SMP was the last version, but it will go end of life basically soon, and then it'll go into extended maintenance support mode if you're still running on SMP. And what it does is a similar concept. Is SMP allows you to do offline scenarios, occasionally connected devices that are running. Whether you're running with Sybase, it's quite compatible with the SMP there. Here is since you're running SMP, you would have basically required to upgrade and move towards a BTP solution, and that would be helping you transition to BTP mobile services. Okay, with that, also we have clients that are usually doing that, is sitting on they invested a lot into their sort of like the portal, where they have a lot of content that they're already invested in. They can be running on the very first version of Enterprise Portal 5, and then they move towards to Enterprise. Well, the portal of running on NetWeaver 7.5. That's most where our client are sitting at on that state. And then when they move over to S4, they would say, hey, what happened to some of those portal that we heavily invested in, portal applications that are running on ABAP Web Pro, Java Web Pro, even portal archive applications. And these even BSP application, there's a lot of users are running on BSP, as in the business server pages application, similar to the .NET, the ASP pages application. What do we do with those, right? We invest heavily on those, and that are running on ECC. So what we can help with those is that we transition to BTP, and we can leverage some of those heavily invested portal applications and use as a content provider over to your BTP work zone, which is the next piece that are all sitting under BTP. You can use it's work zone is like more the advanced version of your newer enterprise portal that you already have currently for SAP. And with that, you can see the vast sort of services or module that is available on BTP platform. And so I described some of them, like Workzone, mobile services, and then you can do IS, which is your integration suite, which is when you want to move forward, upgrading from your PI, PO, your process integration, your process orchestration that is already sitting, which is the next version of your XI, right? Some clients are still sitting on XI, some of those. You might as well take this leap over to BTP IS. And then, so with those, what I just described, some clients also have Solution Manager that is right now running on your ECC connected, right? So we'll help with that as well. That one is a lot of clients do hesitate on moving forward from the solution managers, going to BTP, such as ALM for your application life management cycle. Those are the newer transition over, because those are usually less of priority. They would go with mainly on the IS integration suite to help with all the interface that flow into the ECC, because it's mandatory. You want to move from ECC to S4. So those are some of the scenarios shown here. That here particularly is like for cross industry, as in it could be applied to any of the clients that are using this type of scenario, whether it is an ordering tool where you shop from a shopping cart of replenishing your material, whether it is for basically any usage of those, where you allow to have both offline and online. You would be segregated to, let's say, oh, I want certain apps to run just online. It'll be the Fiori client. But then what we do is we always help client look towards the Fiori library that SAP has. Is that going forward, we basically want those apps, new development to all mainly focus on using SAP UI5 or Fiori out of the box suite of apps that we activate for the client. You can try to use some of those standard apps and see and do fit gap analysis, right, of how those standard apps can help with your process. And if you need to deviate from there, is we would create customized SAP UI5 apps still with the same look and feel, Fiori user experience, but this is all under the Fiori sort of UX, we call it, right? The user experience, that is so that you harmonize across all your applications for that is running a web browser. And then after that, then we would, well, usually we try to meet to what the client needs. Is that we check each of the standard app that is provided by SAP with the extensibility of it, how we can customize it, extend it, so that we can help solve the issue for the client using it. And the last resort is, of course, build a customized UI5 app for you, so that it will replace some of your older applications that are connected to your ECC, for example, that you want to modernize. So those are the examples that were shown here. I think that's all. Yeah, that's it. I'll pass back to you, Madhuri.
Thank you, man, very much.
No problem.
So, team, As you heard today, I'll just do the closing, and as promised, we are leaving the last few minutes for Q&A. There is a live question. We'll take it in a minute. Just wanted to summarize what you heard today. So as you heard, CGI, a Canadian company, almost 50 years old. We've been in the SAP business for over 30 years with many, many different kinds of services. What we tried to illustrate today is the depth, as you just heard. There's a lot of depth in our company because we've done this over and over. The customers that are on the SAP transformation journey, and also help customers that really haven't selected, what their ERP of choice is. CGI has breadth of services in terms of, many industry experts. So whether you're from the healthcare, that was one example we showed you. We showed you an example of, supply chain, which is cross industry, how we can help you, whether you're talking the public sector. CGI is very strong in Canada in the utility space, in manufacturing, retailers. We work with several of them. And Min mentioned GTA, for those of you not from here, that's Greater Toronto Area. But obviously, CGI has many practices within Canada, the largest ones being in the Greater Toronto Area, Montreal, over, far west in Calgary, and so on. So we offer many kinds of SAP services, advisory services. We can help you with discovery assessments if you need to start your transformation journey, bring in the industry experts from various industries. CGI is also in the business of IP, so we have actually developed a lot of our own IP, not necessarily SAP, but integrates with SAP. Very strong in the financial sector, as you saw. All the largest 5 Canadian banks are our clients and have been our clients for many, many years. Lots of telecommunications. The 2 largest telecommunications country in this country are our customers for many years. Manufacturing, as I said, GTA is known for the manufacturing segment for Canada. So we're here to help you, with your digital transformation by our best practices that we've learned. You also heard a lot about, how CGI is helping adopting the latest products from SAP, the Business Data Cloud. Just to summarize, that is net new in the market, but adoption is very strong. BDC is available in 6 AWS data centers around the globe. It's already available in 3 GCP, the Google Cloud data centers around the globe, and expansion going into Azure this year as well, in 3 data centers in 2025 as well, to include the global coverage. So SAP's strategy obviously is heavily investment in BDC, and expansion with all the hyperscalers is clear. So no matter where you are, the one use case we talked about is the migration or modernization of the SAP legacy BW to BDC. That's just one illustrated example. Of course, we can help with several other BDC use cases as well. But BW obviously is going to be the largest, given that there are 20,000 customers out there, right? So hence it was a no-brainer why CGI invested in that one. You talked about, Min went into a lot of depth of 2 different use cases. Obviously, please hoping that you walk away. BTP is a platform as a service. 3 things to remember about BTP is extend, integrate, and innovate. So its philosophy is it's the glue from SAP. BTP has hundreds of products underneath it. But really, to keeping the SAP clean core, you can extend and innovate using BTP. 2 examples shown here are cross-industry, even though Min talked about, the healthcare industry. If you think about it, that same use can be applied to retail as well, in kiosks running in the various shopping malls, right? So the whole idea behind was supply chain replenishment, how fast you can do it, even when you don't have the connectivity you're looking for, and for various reasons, right? So we have the depth to help you with this BTP use cases. And CGI basically is here to help you with any help you need. With that, we'll open it up to questions. I'll take the 2 questions that are in the chat first. After that, if you can please ask live. So the first question that came in was from Umesh. Thank you, Umesh, for the question. The question is, does SAP Business Data Cloud and BTP come with pre-built industry-specific models, metrics, and reporting? So answer is yes. Business Data Cloud, one of the biggest advantage is, just to re-summarize, It can read data. So again, I didn't use the word replicate. It is reading the data, zero copy concept, from multiple data sources. And the biggest value prop is it comes with pre-built data products. These data products obviously have semantic information from various different, whether you're talking about finance or supply chain or HR. Yes, they are pre-built in. That is the biggest advantage. And the other third thing I would say is it has the Insights app, which is, AI like. It can answer semantic questions for your business users, whether you're trying to do, for example, forecasting, replenishment as a supply chain example. Yes, those are pre-built. And of course, you can build your own, but that is one of the biggest value prop when it comes with pre-built. Second part of your question was around BTP. BTP is a platform as a service. It is the glue for SAP. That's how they call it, right? It's a stack on which everything else runs. So it's basically to extend and innovate. So that's what BTP is. Hopefully that answers the question. Then we have another question from Prince. Have you done any data migration to public cloud? Data Migration Cockpit does not have a migration object for GL account. How do you manage it? Sujay, can I pass that to you?
Yeah. Again, in terms of specifically, if I have to talk about finance, there, Prince, um, I don't quite recollect a use case for GL account to public cloud. We've done plenty of migrations to the private cloud, which is now Rise. But from public cloud perspective, we can definitely get back to you.
Yeah. So those of you not familiar, SAP's two variations of their product, which again, the name has changed, but until now, the name was, S4 Public Cloud, which was Grow, marketed as Grow for the past 2-3+ years. And then the Private Cloud Edition, which was marketed as Rise. Again, those names have changed in the last 30 days, but yeah, the concept is whether private cloud being dedicated to you on a hyperscaler as a SaaS offering, public cloud is not dedicated to you. But yes, we can help you with that question, Prince. We can get back to you. It's because it's very specific to a finance, and we'll talk to one of our finance experts to get you that question answered. Okay, I think there's another question from Umesh. Can you share some examples on where BDC and BTP would do a job in a better way as compared to non-SAP products? So I'll try, and then I'll pass it to you maybe a little bit more on the BTP side. So BDC, as you heard, it is not restricted to just the data source of SAP. And by SAP, I don't mean just S4, all the other products that SAP has, SuccessFactors, Ariba, blah, blah, blah. There's a ton of slew of products, right? So it reads data from both SAP and non-SAP sources. And the other value prop is, yes, it consolidates and gives you semantic data. So yes, examples would be whether it's HR, finance, supply chain, whatever area of business you're in. Yes, it has the semantic data capabilities to read and to provide the information in a consistent business language format, so that your business, whether it's the C-suite or the senior level leaders, they can get answers to their questions in a more using AI as well. Min, you want to add some more detail on part two?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So in terms of non-SAP product that does similar functions, yes, there are many out there. In terms of like Google has this BigQuery product as well that's comparable to. Well, they're actually out in the market earlier than SAP BDC.
Yeah.
And then in terms of BTP, I would say, well, there could be many non-SAP products, right? Even it's more or less which one is better and that do a better job is what I can say is, let's say you go with the SAP BDC. There's a lot of like pre-built data models or data products that already help you with that. And then it comes with something is almost like a library of apps where we call it insight apps. And these insight apps are all Fiori already out of the box. I don't see much in a non-SAP product that offer a lot of those apps right now. Although it's relatively new, the library it's new, but it is developing as clients go. You can develop your own app and then put it onto into part of the Insight app to use, to automate your workflows, to try to leverage as much as the low code development that you can use. I think that's very comparable to some of the non-SAP product out there. In terms of like the BTP platform, is that if you're SAP, if you're already on SAP, whether it's your ECC or your portal or whatever applications you have that exists that is on ECC system, you may as well stick with SAP to leverage going to the next version, which is all moving towards the business technology platform, which is the BTP there. To branch off, let's say, to a non-SAP product, you can sort of slice and dice which product you want to use. If you think SAP licensing it's quite a bit, to go to BTP towards BTP, and then you want to move towards a non-SAP product. I mean, that's all possible. Some non-SAP product could be better pricing or could be even better in terms of integrating. But usually here is we try to branch off and stick with all within the SAP suites. So
thank you, Mitch. All right,
no problem.
I think we're out of time. We're in the last 60 seconds. So once again, a sincere thank you from the CGI team to you for attending. All of you have asked whether the recording will be made available. The answer is yes. Thomas has answered that. It will be made available to you. And we look forward to hearing from you. Hopefully you found the information here valuable that will help make you some decisions, and CGI is behind you to help you and be a part of your transformation journey. So once again, thank you everyone, and thank you to all the speakers, to Sujay, and thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good day.